Collusive as we take you to a secret location where Q1043's Zach Martin is interviewing Ringo Starr.
I've got the Ringo Rama in my hand, and I got to say,
Rama, Peace and Love. Yeah.
This is a great album.
Oh,
top to bottom, every single track on
great,
it.
Thanks.
What I'd like to know is who are the main band members you enlisted for this project?
Well, the main band member, Mark Hudson, of course, who's rhythm, bass, and writer and co-producer. Steve Dudas, guitar, writer. Gary Burr, writer, guitarist. I mean, everybody's doing several jobs. Dean Grickel, writer. So that's the nucleus.
And it seems like Mark Hudson has a big hand in this project.
Well, he does. We produce it together, and he's great at railroading the musicians.
Now, you have an amazing list of guest stars that appear on the album.
Yeah, which isn't new, because if you look at my disc history, I've always done that, even from the Ringo album in the 70s. Yeah.
Well, let's go down the list.
Yeah.
You have Clapton.
Ringo Rama.
On Ringo Rama, you have Clapton, David Gilmour, Timothy B. Schmidt, Sean Colvin, Willie Nelson, and even Roy Orbison on one of your tracks.
Well, we have Roy Orbison's Growl, thanks to Barbara Orbison.
And then it's really cool how you worked it into Memphis on My Mind.
Yeah.
That song is about the days of Elvis or being in Memphis. What's it really about?
Well, the days of our youth, really. But, that's where Elvis came out of. And, it was a huge music scene for me, living in Liverpool. The music that came out of Memphis was extraordinary.
I notice on every single track, you're always doing something amazing with the lyrics or the instruments. There's always something going on with every single track. Mark Hudson and you really got together to make sure that the quality in every track was...
Well, yeah, we have a certain standard. We want to keep things, and that's what we work for. I mean, the main thing we did on this CD was to use less, where less is more. That's the main aim of the Ringo Rama CD.
I found one of the tracks really interesting where you even use a Mellotron, and nobody uses those anymore.
No, well, they're still out there,
Where'd you find it?
The Mellotron, it's probably in Mark's studio. I don't know where we found it, or was it as a studio down the road from him? I don't know where we found it. No.
Well, what made you decide to use a Mellotron?
Well,
I found
it's
it
a
so
musical
interesting.
instrument, and that's the actual, going back to the tabla on Never Without You, a synthesized tabla in a machine. So, we'll use anything we can to enhance the track. And suddenly, sometimes just because it's in the room and it works, was, oh yeah, do that. We're calling them bongos, but they're not really bongos. You Are That to Me was these little drums, and I'm in a stairwell in this office block in Mark's studio, and just the atmosphere of the stairwell comes through with it's a natural sort of echo. So it's anywhere we are. If it's working, We're
here with Ringo Starr.
Yeah.
The track Never Without You invokes a lot of emotion. It's a very special song. I think it's really a sweet tribute to George. Tell me about the making of that song and how you felt emotionally putting it together.
Well, it started because the first verse, written by Gary Nicholson, is really just about a band. We were young, blah, blah, blah. And so I thought, oh, wow, this is great. And somehow it just directed itself as a tribute and a thank you and love to George. But, to get to that point, I actually went to a tribute of love to George, John Lennon, Harry Nilsson, because, we're all in these sort of bands. And then it just got too busy trying to, as people will know who've played the track, I incorporate a lot of George's lyrics in the song. So to try and also incorporate John's lyrics and Harry Nilsson's, it got too crazy. So in the end, I thought, well, I'll just do it for George. And that's how it happened.
Oh, I thought it was great when you used Within You, Without You, and All Things Must Pass as the lyrics. I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And Eric Clapton, when he recorded the track, how emotional did he get about it?
Well, you'll have to ask him how emotional he got.
Because
when we're working. I mean, our thoughts were, we lost a good friend, but we're trying to keep the atmosphere of the song up. It wasn't like a down thing. It rocks. But of course, I'm sorry that we had to write this song about my friend who has left, but he has, so we carry on.
Got Muni Show exclusive. Zach Martin with Ringo Starr on Q1043.
One of my favorite tracks is Instant Amnesia, and I love the beginning because it's your blues. There's that drumming, you know, and it took me back to the White Album. I just think it's a tremendous song, and there's a lot of interesting things going on within the song. Can you explain a little bit what's going on?
Well, the song itself was one of the few songs that started with the groove. And the groove is pretty heavy because the day before I wasn't feeling great. I just felt, blah. And I just felt I've had enough of this drumming and singing and making records. And I was moaning. And so the next day we went into the studio and just started to groove. And I actually started to groove hard. And, so the players started playing hard, and that's how we got the groove. And then we wrote the song around the groove, which is probably the only one on the record that we did that too.
And there's an interesting change up in the middle I found. That's
that's an electronic drum kit I have, and I found at setting 49, I turn into Lionel Hampton. So, but that's the joy about, us knowing each other so well that we're open to use anything,
Amnesia makes you forget your worries, your troubles, forget you your debt. Instant amnesia, it's already gone. It can make you remember tomorrow you're wrong. Amnesia, it's just like a kiss. You can't close your eyes, it's too easy to miss. Instant amnesia, you can't take no pill. There's no medicine, so it must be God's will. Mind. He's knocking at your door.
Instant Amnesia from Ringo, Rama, Peace and Love with our special guest Ringo Starr, Zach Martin, Q1043, Scott Muni Show. Another interesting song that I'd like you to tell me a little bit about, Elizabeth Reigns. I think that was really creative because maybe most Americans won't understand it, but I got it right away. It was about the Queen of England.
Yeah, it's all about the Queen of England. And the American that started it, Dean Grickel, you know, I had all these Americans living with me, and they had a day off, and they went into London, and it was the Jubilee, and there were flags everywhere, and there was a big concert, and they all got just crazed about this situation, where I'm not so crazed anymore about the Queen. And so they came back and he's saying, what is ER? Because big signs all over England, ER. And I actually said, well, that's Elizabeth Reigns. It's not an emergency. And so he started the song. And I'm saying, I'm not going to sing a song about the Queen. But anyway, we did finish it. And I got my piece in about the 600 servants. She was a detergent. And, and in the end, the song, Let's Point Our Fingers No More, all of our sins are as big as the Windsors. So let's point the finger. I just think the royal family's out the window for me right now. So that's how it started. Thanks that I was working with a lot of Americans, and they were excited. And they found this place where the hanging tree was. I'd never seen it. I'm English, and I've never been. And it's a pub now, I believe. So it just happened like that. I mean, that's what happens. They came back all excited, and we wrote a song, and then they forced me to record it.
We now continue with a Scott Muni Show exclusive. Zach Martin with Ringo Starr on Q1043.
Scott asked me to ask you. He was on the tarmac nearly 40 years. It's coming up to 40 years ago. He was there at JFK when you guys arrived.
Yeah.
And he was wondering what was going on when you were flying over, and then when you landed, when you saw everybody and all the excitement, what went through your mind?
Well,
the big change.
The excitement started well before that. I mean, and I've shared this before, I felt the excitement 30,000 feet up on the plane. When we came to New York, it just was like we're going to America. And then when we landed, I mean, it was really far out because we were a little worried about America. America is the place. If you're a musician, I don't care. America's the place. And then we landed on the tarmac, and it was incredible. All those kids, and then the hotel. And it was just probably one of the most exciting times ever of my life. And we were in a big hotel, and you had TVs in every room, and radios, and, the media madness that we didn't get in England, And the idea that we could talk on the radio was all these crazy things that seem crazy to you were like the most exciting things we'd ever done, So it was really exciting, and it was exciting from 30,000 feet.